Before we dive in, here's another show you can enjoy in the True Story FM family of entertainment podcasts.
Oh, there you are. I was hoping I'd cross paths with you today. I'd like to invite you to visit the Storywell. It's a place where storytellers of all stripes gather. From improv performers to authors, screenwriters to playwrights, we all tell stories. But we're not here to talk about craft. We're here to make something out of nothing. Each episode of the podcast, your host, that's me, sits down with a creative person, and based on a series of random prompts, we get elements that we make into a story. Will it be a noir novel about King Kong? Or a Broadway musical about JFK? Even we don't know. That's the fun part. But what do you get out of this, besides a good time with fun people? Simple. The idea is then yours. That's right. Whatever we come up with, we give it away for anyone to use however they'd like, no strings attached. It's like each episode comes with a free prize inside. The Storywell with Kyle Olson. We'll save you a seat at the table.
Ever wondered what happens when a Zoomer who grew up on the Clone Wars,
A millennial Anakin defender,
and a grumpy old Gen Xer walk into a cantina to talk Star Wars?
then we've got the podcast for you.
Star Wars Generations is a place for fans of all backgrounds to come together, talk about why we love the franchise, and what we can learn from each other.
With so much new Star Wars content coming out, we take a deep dive into all of it. We talk stories and characters, what we learn about the Force and the Empire, Republics old and new, and how each story adds to the larger picture.
Besides episode-by-episode coverage of the new shows, we've been going back to watch the movies in release order. We talk about Star Wars novels and video games, along with fan content and cosplay.
And with each episode, we're just starting the conversation, and we hope you jump in. We'll read your feedback, answer your questions. We've even had full episodes dedicated to questions raised by listeners like you.
You can find us under Star Wars Generations on your favorite podcast app or by going to theethicalpanda.com. May the Force be with you.
Now this is podcasting.
Welcome back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a weekly podcast in which we disassemble a film from the Marvel Cinematic Universe into 5-minute segments and then examine them in obsessive and occasionally hilarious detail. I'm Kyle Olson from the Storywell podcast.
Hey, and I'm Rob Kubasko, and Kyle.
Yes, Rob.
Gluten is a protein found in wheat and other grains. It is responsible for the elastic and sticky properties of dough, giving bread and other baked goods their structure. Here's the deal. I live a life with a human who has celiac. And celiac is, for those of you who don't know, it is the thing that you cannot process gluten. So my spouse, who I love, she is always trying to find new and wonderful ways in which to enjoy the things that all of us who are gluten eaters take for granted.
Right.
One of the things that we've always loved are waffles. And we have always been on search for what is the greatest gluten-free waffle mix, and we found it.
You are here to make a ruling?
This is it. Since 1937, Golden Waffles has been delighting waffle lovers around the globe with their premium mixes. Today they are known as Carbon's Golden Malted Waffle. You know them if you've ever been to a Disney property. Or fine hotels that have buffets where you get to make your own waffles.
Yeah.
This is the waffle mix they use. And let me tell you right now, you're in luck. They make the greatest gluten-free waffle pancake flour that exists. You don't need to put an egg in it. All you have to do is put 1 part this mix, 1 part water, and you, my friend, will be enjoying the greatest gluten-free waffles that have been known to humans. Why do I bring this up? What a weird cut. I'm not going to lie. This is a weird cut.
Yeah. So, yeah, because, we're going to, we guarantee this whole episode is gluten-free as we discuss Iron Man 3 from 2013, directed by Shane Black, written by Shane Black and Drew Pearce. As we pick up here at minute 31, we are in the middle of Jarvis creating a virtual crime scene. So he has put out this information, and he's giving information about who this Mandarin guy is.
How does he do this? How does he create this virtual crime scene?
I don't know. This is we saw a little of this sort of in Iron Man 2, sort of some visualizing, but never anything on this scale where they actually have like a full 3D rendering of an environment they were not at.
Right.
Like, I don't know how they would get this information. I mean, like we don't see any Stark satellites in this movie. We know he's got some, but we don't see him here. But like, how did they get any type of scan of the area at that time? Because we never see Happy with any tech.
And even security cameras, they don't have dot projectors. They don't have thermal imaging. They don't have the level of detail in which we're about to see.
Yeah.
I'm confused by this.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. If they had something that Happy had, if they just given him like a little Stark phone or Stark device or a wristband or something like that, that would sort of like, oh, okay, maybe it's a recorder that, he double taps it, kind of like the fancy glasses that you have that can record stuff. If they had sort of like the wristband thing where all of a sudden he taps as he's passing out or whatever, and it does a little snapshot.
You mean Alcatel? The Alcatel?
Yeah, the Alcatel
Image Master 5000 doesn't.
Apparently not, but maybe it does. Maybe that was the thing. Maybe that's why it was just too expensive, because of all the amazing things that were put in that they never even mentioned in their advertising. Smart man, smartphone,
I guess.
Smart choice.
Oh, jeez.
So we have Jarvis is then giving information up, and we see this. This is always fun ways of like, how do you get exposition in? Mm-hmm. So then this is a lot of like Tony talking to himself, talking to Jarvis, but talking to himself. And he says, okay, what do we have here? His name is a Chinese war mantle, meaning advisor to the king. Mm-hmm. Wow. South American insurgency tactics, talks like a Baptist preacher. There's a lot of pageantry going on here, a lot of theater, which I was like, look at that. He's already onto something. It's almost like this is all a show, all a performance. Interesting. So then they pick up, he says that he has this event has excess of 3,000 degrees Celsius, which has vaporized people, but no bomb parts were found. So it's almost like there's something organic on there too. So then as he's looking at it, he says, talk to me, Happy. Now, it's interesting as they do this sort of thing of recreating this thing. This honestly probably comes not from the Marvel universe, but from the DC universe, because when he does this, the immediately first thought I had was, this is Batman Arkham City, because this is what Batman does in Arkham City, is create a virtual crime scene, and you have to go and investigate crimes.
Yes.
That's
pretty great.
Arkham Knight and Arkham Origins, like all this stuff. This is full on Batman, and it's interesting that like those games had come out by this point, that they sort of, it's almost retrofitted onto here of like recreating the environment and then trying to do it, and with the same sort of blue line effects and like circling in on stuff.
Totally,
I mean, it really is. Batman doesn't do as much of the manipulation stuff, which we saw Tony doing even in Iron Man 2 with the whole like expanding the element and pulling the pieces out and stuff too. But we see that here in action as he like pulls pieces up and then flips around to try and find it. So as he's all through 31, he is going through and trying to figure out all little pieces, and then asking the question, when is a bomb not a bomb? So as we get into, I'd say there's a lot of stuff going. So as he's going through the list of things, he sees that there are no military victims listed. So as he finds then Taggart, then he asks to go to Jarvis, which is another interesting thing. So maybe there are Stark satellites that are doing this stuff, because he then immediately pulls up all the stuff that is for these thermogenic sequences, like essentially what has hit that 3,000 degrees.
Well, he hits the dog tag.
Yes,
he pulls the dog tag out,
and sees that Taggart, so that's he knows to make that connection.
Which, by the way, again, not that I appreciate the storytelling.
Yeah,
but that's incredible detail to have.
Yeah,
from a source that I do not understand or has not been acknowledged. That's crazy. I do love, though, that when he pulls the dog tag out, it doesn't remove it from the ground. It actually pulls like a section of the ground out, which is it makes a little more sense in that, okay, if it is just a thermal imaging scan or like a surface scan, it's not going to necessarily have that. But I don't know, that to me, I remembered seeing this for the first time and thinking, where did he get this from?
Yeah.
How did this all happen?
Like, it's not like there's Stark drones,
right?
Or like that could go around and scan all this stuff too. Yeah, it's like like using the cameras and like recreating the virtual environment. Like, it's sort of one of those things where I think they, as filmmakers, they're just like, it's Iron Man magic. Like,
oh no, of course.
Now, wave their hands just to get to the cool stuff.
I do appreciate that they do have the callback to the vaporization of the people that were in the vicinity.
Yeah.
So you have that whole thing that obviously completes that more horrifying part of the story.
Right. So yeah, as he pulls up then these different sequences, the other question is, what is tracking these too? So like, I don't know what satellite system is tracking heat thing that they have the information that there would be like a record of high heat events. I guess the weather service.
Well, do you think though, or is this just a continuation of him intercepting all the data from the FBI and CIA and Shield? Shield would know this for sure, for certain.
I'm sure they've investigated.
So this is maybe that's what this is actually is just Tony's got his nose in everything.
Yeah, exactly. Because when you have the power of the sun oracle cloud, nothing can stop you.
I forgot about that.
So yeah, he's like, because literally, Jarvis does the name drop. The Oracle Cloud has completed analysis. Like, oh, the Oracle Cloud. Whoa.
Somewhere, Larry Ellison is wringing his hands, laughing.
And so Tony climbs up on the Snap-on toolboxes. We talked about Snap-on a lot in Iron Man 2. So you can go back and listen to those if you want to hear the history of Snap-on. Okay, so then we have Tony then climbs up literally to get a bigger view to look down and see the entire United States, which is interesting. Also, that we know that there have been things around the world, but he just is focusing on the United States for this thing. I don't know how even that he sorted the data down that far, because we know that there have been incidents around the world, not just in the U.S.
I think that
I guess the military is like he's following the Taggart.
Also, I think that his floor was only so big.
That's true.
And for it to make any sense at all.
That's right. Tony works on the micro, not on the macro. So to bring it out just to the country. So brings it out and then lays out everywhere, and then sees a bunch of these different events. And so then he sees, like, the first one that comes up is San Rafael, Springfield. So, something happened with the Simpsons. And you see that the temperatures were not high enough. Yeah, Homer. But then the one he does find that hits that 3,000 degrees is a small town in Rose Hill, Tennessee, which does not exist. That is a Marvel creation. So they created their own little fake town. However, there are some fictional characters who have come from Tennessee. Those include Deputy Dog, Huckleberry Hound, but oddly enough, not Tennessee Tuxedo. Tennessee Tuxedo, not from Tennessee.
Wow. I mean, shocking, but what'd you say? Deputy Dog
and Huckleberry Hound are both from Tennessee.
Canines
yeah,
really.
Who knew?
Wow.
So then we have a picture comes up of one of the victims, Chad Davis. So Chad Davis is being played by James Rackley. Sometimes we have like just a picture, we don't know anything, but we'll see a little bit more of Chad later on in the movie. So we'll just talk about him here as he first shows up. He appeared in the movie 42 alongside Chadwick Boseman, our once and forever Black Panther. He also would appear on the television show Constantine. And not only is he an actor, but he also is a fellow podcaster. So if you want to check out, he has a show with a bunch of his friends called Around with the Boys, where it's just a bunch of guys hanging out and talking about whatever they want to, which is a lot of podcasting. So once you're done with our episodes, hop on over there and see what they're talking about.
So wait, okay. So when he brings this up, now there's a front page of USA Today Weekend. We see his picture, Blast claims 6 lives. And then there's a sidebar that says, not my son. And with a photo of what is a very angry looking woman. What is that? I mean, was that saying that's his mother saying this wasn't my son who did this? Or like,
Rob, it's the Skrulls.
Oh, son of a.
They wouldn't stop with Rhodey. Now they're replacing people's sons.
Well, this makes sense.
Is there nothing they will stoop to?
Oh no, anyway. That woman looks angry. Don't mess with that woman. That's all I can tell you.
That's right. So as he pulls the information and sees that Chad Davis is also a military person, they have the off-screen line of, that's 2 military guys. So it's like it's one of those things where like you can't unsee things. Like now, as I've gotten into this kind of stuff, I watch stuff and go, oh, that's clearly later on. They're like, we have to make sure the audience knows they were both military guys. So let's get either RDJ or a soundbite to come in and do an off-screen line and say, that's two military guys.
I can't believe we're about to have a second Batman reference in this episode.
Oh, wow.
But that moment, I was like, your mother's named Martha too? Like, it's like Stark private investigators on the job. Like, dude, what? Anyway,
this is what is good about having a Jarvis on your thing, though, because Tony asks, ever been to Tennessee? And Jarvis immediately says, creating a flight plan for Tennessee. So that's and then that's the end of 32. So and then as we begin in 33 with ding dong, someone's at the door. It says, are we doing ding dong? Are we still at ding dong? Like, so apparently Jarvis never disabled the bell, which this is really good though, because it actually says, like, we realize that Tony has taken a step. Like, he knows the fight is coming. Like, he knows that he put out his address and he called out the Mandarin.
Yeah.
He said, are we still at ding dong? I threatened a terrorist. Like,
yeah.
you're still letting anybody just walk up to the building and ring the doorbell? Jarvis.
And please explain this to me. Because I don't understand.
I know. Jarvis,
don't make a flight plan for Tennessee. We can go fly commercial. Cut it out. What is the deal?
Somebody walks up to the door and you don't even do it. But he's like, oh, now, and then he starts running facial recognition. I'm like, you only have facial recognition at the door. You're Tony Stark. You don't have it at the gatehouse, because we know from Iron Man 2, there's a huge driveway to get to Stark Manor because it's back on the property. Like, nowhere in the process is there any security thing of being like, hey, by the way, someone's at the gate. Someone's in the driveway.
Now wait a minute, and let's be serious. And right after this, there's a wide shot of the property, which really is kind of cool because you see the helipad.
Yeah,
he's got an infinity pool, of course he does. There's the copters all around. You see the car coming up the driveway. I'm gonna say this to you. Here we are. This is it. The movie falls apart for me right here. What is happening?
Yeah,
I mean, and it's not like they missed it. Tony right here addresses it. How is this happening?
Yeah.
And what's the answer? I don't understand.
Yeah. That's in writing terms, we call it hanging a lantern on it, where like essentially if there's a big obvious thing, like there's like suddenly an alien drops, like, oh, now we're doing aliens now, like that kind of thing. You kind of go, but it still doesn't absolve you of the sin. Just because you're like, hey, no, this didn't make any sense. Yeah. So make it make sense.
And it's not like, I don't get it.
Because according to what we're seeing here, Jarvis doesn't know who it is yet. So he lets someone come all the way up to the front door and then starts running facial recognition on them.
Come on,
Jarvis. Bro, where are you at? I have to say it, but it might be that Oracle cloud. Maybe it's the problem. Like, maybe the Oracle cloud wasn't quite there yet.
Don't speak ill of our overlords. Don't.
That's right. So the all internet access gets cut off. No, what? I'm sorry.
Okay.
So then I do like that Jarvis is still sassy though. He says, "There's only so much I can do when you give the world's press your home address."
But that doesn't make any sense.
I know.
Doesn't mean anything.
No, it's like come on. Like one of the things. This is the worst kept secret. Like everybody knows.
No, but I mean, like, I don't understand. One, everybody knows where he lives. Number two, okay, so now we see that the place is swarming with news choppers.
Yeah, outside.
He can't break in and catch all their feeds and analyzing what the feeds are showing so that if there is a threat approaching the property, we might be able to do something about it.
I know, like, Jarvis is not a guy. Like, Jarvis is not Ned as the man in the chair. Like, Jarvis is a virtual intelligence that is running the house and the suits and the computers. Like, he is watching everywhere. You can't catch a computer unawares.
No,
they don't forget and they don't not notice. Like, that's the job. So it's not like I don't understand this whole idea of that Jarvis is like, oh, I'm talking to you now, so I'm not watching what's going on over here. That's not how AIs work.
Not only does it not how it's work, Jarvis is smarter than this. Jarvis is without emotion.
Yes.
Jarvis would say, hey, I'm going to put aside the flight path to Tennessee, which, my God, is nothing. And I'm going to keep focused on what's going on within 50 miles of the property.
Yeah.
Well, what in the world?
This doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I don't know what was going on here. I know that we're getting into like the next couple of minutes, the next chunk of them. I feel like we're heavily edited down. I think there was a lot more stuff in these next, I'd say probably 20 minutes or so, that things get kind of messy. There's a little bit of here, and then and then I think down the line there's a lot of stuff where I feel I'm starting to see the seams a little bit more.
Right.
And this is definitely one of those things of like, this is now a bunch of stuff is happening for no reason. So it's not like Jarvis is being hacked, which would have been fine. That would have been a thing of like something's going through. It's literally just like plot contrivance for a high-tech movie, like a James Bond type. This is pretty situationally unaware. So I don't know why, like they had so many things have failed in a very small session that doesn't make any sense.
And here's the thing. There were a million ways to explain this better.
Right.
Tony's missed things because he's not sleeping and he's over and his mind is going too fast. There's a massive plot device hidden in that stupid 30-foot tall bear. Like, you could come up with a million things of how this happened. Pepper has brought in some piece of tech because the head of security is now in a hospital bed.
Yeah.
There's none of that. No. It's just, oops.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just weren't paying attention. But then we do have the return of Dr. Maya Hansen, who looks exactly like she did in 1999.
Doing pretty good. She's doing pretty good.
Yeah, did pretty well. And then as Tony goes in, Jarvis identifies her, and then Tony goes and he says, one of the first things he says to her is, "You're not the Mandarin, are you? Are you?"
And we notice he's in the suit. He's in the mustard suit.
Yeah, that's right. He is suited up before he went there. So it was interesting, but that line is going to be important. We're going to talk about later on.
Oh no! Do I smell another Batman reference coming? Wow.
Are you?
Oh, okay.
I wish there was more of this and less of that other stuff too. Of he's thinking that she's there to get back together with him, and then Tony says, "And now I'm in a committed relationship," and immediately Pepper's bag drops from the second story onto the ground of her like packing up to leave.
So wait, now don't miss the what did he have for breakfast? He had gluten-free waffles, which is the whole reason for the intro.
Yeah.
I just want everyone to know there was a purpose.
There was a purpose, yes.
Yes.
So we know Tony either Pepper is gluten-free, that's why he got them, or he is not a big fan of gluten, but has the opposite. And now probably we know which ones he used.
Golden malted. Of course. He's part of the Disney property. He's absolutely eating the same thing Mickey eats. I got to tell you that as much as this annoys me, that whole segment, this whole little conversation of what now we're into is where she says, "I need to be alone with you someplace it's urgent." And he's like, "Well, normally I'd like that, but I'm in a relationship." Bag drop. Yeah.
It's
brilliant. Yeah. It is so perfectly done. And then we go into where she has a little bit more of a conversation with him, which this is very funny.
Yeah, I love all this sort of the back and forth kind of thing too. We also find out here as the bag drops, that ends minute 33. We roll into minute 34, and then we find out you can actually step out of the Mark 42. Which we didn't really know before. Like it had all little pieces that come flying in and build on, but you actually can do and you can do it from the front. Like you can sort of open up.
We saw it after the conversation with Rhodey.
Yeah, that was the other suit though. That was the other suit.
That's right.
Yeah, this was like the 7 or whatever.
That's right.
7. But for the 42, we didn't know that it could do that, but now we do. And we'll see that on too. And as their camera is now cutting around to all this kind of stuff, we see that they did get the rabbit inside. So he did have the people come in, take out the wall and bring it in, because there it is inside the building with them. So the rabbit there. And then they have this back and forth of her, like Dr. Hansen and Maya is trying to get Tony out of there, trying to like get him away so they can have this conversation. And so he immediately does math and goes, please don't tell me there's a 12-year-old kid waiting in the car. And she says, he's 13.
That's amazing, by the way.
And there's this moment of panic in his face.
By the way, do you notice how cool it is?
And then she immediately gets him off the hook. That was really funny, though.
Well, no, and also, do you notice there's a very subtle moment in this? I think it's somewhere in this area where he's acting like he doesn't know who she is.
Yes.
He knows who she is. And the moment he says her name, maybe this is where Pepper comes down, he introduces her look of surprise, like, oh, you do remember me. Like, it's actually kind of neat. Like, it's just this whole exchange is really well done.
Yeah. Tony's already on the back foot of like, why are you here? What is going on? Let's see. I also have, you saved yourself a world of pain. I don't remember why I have that pulled out. It's good dialogue, but I don't remember why. That's what. This is when they get into the Pepper, Tony, Maya thing. It's like the three of them, the triangle. And this is, I really like Shane Black and Drew Pearce, the writing in here. This is really good because it could easily have gone like, you're here to steal my man kind of nonsense. But immediately both of them are like, this guy, am I right? Like the two of them, sort of like, as if Tony's going, oh no, she's not, we're not, and that's when Pepper says, like, she's not here to bring him back. Oh, you saved yourself a world of pain when she like broke up with him, essentially. That was it. And then I also like the exchange between the very, very couple thing of nope, yup, like the back and forth between the two of them. It was just, it's so perfectly domestic.
It's great.
And then as they're having their little back and forth, they're saying, let's see, almost exchange, I wrote down, this is how normal people behave. Is that normal? And then you see that Maya is distracted by something. So as we hit minute 35, then she's looking over at a live news shot of Stately Stark Manor, looking out, and she sees, hey, there's something coming from a helicopter towards Stark Manor in a rapid fashion. And there's a missile coming out the thing. And Jarvis apparently still working on that route to Tennessee because
stupid.
Nothing like, you tell me that there are no exterior sensors. Like there's nothing facing the ocean. Like you have an ocean view. You're an Avenger. And you never thought an attack would come from the big wide open area? Wild. Just wild.
I got to tell you, I remember seeing this in the theater and I remembering at this moment going, I think I checked out. For real. Like I actually think I checked out because I was like, this makes no sense at all other than it's a plot device. And only because we had to get to this from this. And what I hope it's not because, oh, wouldn't it be cool if the thing that's about to happen with the suit, wouldn't it be cool if we did that? Well, how would we do that? Oh, I know. We'd have a missile hit the house.
Yes.
But how would a missile hit the house? Wouldn't it be cool if the suit does what it's about to do?
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
Yeah. And I think they just got like, 4 steps out from that. And they're like, yeah, good enough. Like, oh, but you can take one more and just said like, there's like, even if they had like Mandarin logos, like the little color bars pop up on the screen of like, oh, sir, I can't, or, like any of that kind of stuff.
It's in the teddy bear.
Yeah.
You brought the teddy bear in the house. You brought it.
Never bring the rabbit inside.
No.
That's cool. Yeah. But all that being said, annoyance aside, and totally valid, good point. This is pretty freaking cool.
Oh, well, see, now that's the issue. Yes, it is. It's really cool.
You build up all this other stuff, like all these things. You have this little domestic fight going on and stuff too. And then the freaking missile hits and then everything slows down. We go into Zack Snyder slow ramp. Everything goes down. And then we get to see that there's another feature of the suit we didn't know about, which is not only can Tony pull it to himself, he can send it. And so in this, I don't know, half a second that expands out into the full minute, we see him bring the suit, like call it to himself, and then send it over to Pepper as they're flying through the air in the middle of this explosion. And then the suit builds around Pepper. That's freaking awesome.
It's amazing.
It looks fantastic as if too. Like just the multiple shots of Gwyneth as like all the different pieces are forming on her. She's confused about what's going on.
Yes.
Poor Maya. Like he couldn't decide to do in half.
Well, and also here's the other thing. Don't lose sight of this is actually a great Tony Stark moment in that imminent imminent disaster.
Yes.
And what's Tony's first move? Save Pepper.
Save Pepper. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Like, yeah,
It'd be better if you didn't have the missile hit the house, but whatever. Thanks, Jarvis.
You could have sent this suit out to intercept the missile.
I mean,
oh
my God, yes!
I'm just saying.
How does the suit not know that?
Well, even Tony being like, "Uh-oh, missile, suit, go, grab missile." Like we've seen a suit grab a nuke.
Dude,
and fly with it.
Dude,
the suit can, even this one, could at least push a missile off to the side.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
I mean,
the suit grabs the missile, puts it back onto the copters, blows them all up. Game over.
Yeah, like just like to alter the flight path of just like grabbing the thing, and we literally saw that exact move in a previous movie that he could.
Okay,
but fast.
Well, it's
fast.
cool. It's cool. Pepper saved. She looks cool.
That poor piano. So Pepper is covered by the suit. She suits up for the very first time. And so then we have as they're all flying. Then there's some interesting time stuff going on here too, because then we cut back to the helicopter, which we're going to talk about that. But then, like, all that stuff is happening, everything that we're going to see in the next couple of minutes has already happened by the time we cut back to the helicopter, because everything happens so fast. So it's like you go from slow down time to sped up normal time and then back to slow down time. Yeah. It's a little odd, but in sequence it really works. Like the whole editing of this thing actually comes together. So we have Savin is actually in this helicopter, which is from KRXJ. That's right. It's a callback. If you were listening last episode, you know that one of their news vans was on there, and now they have made their attack helicopter look like one of the actual fictional TV stations that we saw from there. A real TV station in the MCU. So Savin is running a helicopter, but he's not the pilot. The pilot is actually Anthony Reynolds. Anthony Reynolds has 77 credits on IMDb. He was on the Outer Banks, Dope Sick, and I, Tonya. And also he has a Marvel connection, but not an MCU connection, because he was in the Fantastic the Fantastic Four movie that had a 4 in the middle of it for some reason. He was in the one the Fantastic Four movie we don't like to talk about.
Wait, what was he in that?
Just a guy. Like,
is he one of the guys that gets blown up by Doom?
I use like Doom in quotes. Like,
he gets juiced.
Not my Doom.
He gets juiced.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Interestingly, though, and Anthony Reynolds has a very interesting career, because he's, like I said, 77 credits, so he's doing well as an actor, but for many, many years, almost a decade, he was a stand-in. He was a stand-in for 2 very prominent actors, Billy Bob Thornton and our once and future Hulk, Edward Norton.
What?
He was the stand-in for Edward Norton for like a decade.
A stand-in as in like when they were doing shots and stuff. Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I thought you were saying like a stunt man. Like,
no.
Immediately I thought, no, he's
just like come in, and do lighting and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
So then outside we see the helicopter. We see like in a very mobile armored strike command kind of way. We see the sides of the helicopter.
I thought the exact same thing.
Pop open and the real missiles. I'm like, oh man, someone else played with G.I. Joe when they were a kid.
No, this is a full blown right back to when we had the Switchblade. I think that was the Masked
Crusaders working overtime fighting crime.
Oh my God. And you see it's the other helicopter too. I think it's Channel 7. So so this was smart. They were there the entire time.
Yeah. And obviously this is like later on that same day, presumably, like this is that we're led to believe. And so they had to have been in the works. They can't have just like, hey, he gave us the address, now we can do it. This was always the plan.
Can I say something to you?
Sure.
Jarvis can recreate a crime scene without knowing how it is and get the dog tags that are left in the rubble, and can't scan helicopters that are flying around the property, some of them loaded with a crap ton of munitions and missiles, and he doesn't know that.
Tennessee is a long way away from California.
God, seriously, what's he taking I-40? What is he doing?
This is before that all that information. So he is tracking multiple routes. There's a lot of traffic in the sky.
Yeah. You're right, but it's cool effect though. When that
It's really
comes
cool.
down, it's really cool.
Yeah, and so we see, and obviously there's more missiles are on the way, so that he needs to do about that because there's now 3 different helicopters, and they're all going to attack. As we see that Maya has been knocked unconscious, the roof's about to collapse on her. Pepper's wearing the suit. Tony's like, and that's where the minute ends.
Oh wait, that's it.
Things are looking rough as we reach the end of minute 35.
Oh no.
Yeah. But yeah, I say it's amazing. Of these like 5 minutes, there's that 30 seconds that is just phenomenal. Like that.
No, it is sandwiched with some
some very questionable things.
I'm gonna stay open minded. Let's see what happens now post the snap.
Yeah,
well, I should say
go boom.
The boom in Iron Man 3. All right.
So while people are waiting for that episode to drop, Rob, do you have any recommendations on what website they might go to visit?
Is there a True Story? Is it truestory.fm?
It is truestory.fm.
Is it also, do I remember this correctly? Is it 500 pennies a month?
500 pennies. That's true.
Is that what gets you?
We've all got 500 pennies laying around.
500 pennies. I mean, that's not. Come on, you got 500
Get rid of your
pennies. You got some. I know I have a swear jar somewhere in the house. 500 pennies a month, and it unlocks to you all the exclusive stuff, the episodes that come out early. Mm-hmm. You go ahead and have the conversations on our Discord server. Yep. And here's the thing, more important than all that stuff. I mean, you might say to yourself, what's in it for me? No. What's in it for us? What's in it for us is this amazing bespoke content that is designed specifically to ensnare your curiosity in what makes movies work.
That's right. We're only here because of fan demand. We're here
because of us too.
Well, there's a point when Marvel Movie Minute was going to sort of like, I think that we had our fill, and the fans were like, no, you're coming back. We're like, no. We're not coming back. It's done. We did phase 1. We're done. No. Like the fans were like, no, we're just going to sit here and quietly wait because you're going to come back. You're going to do it. You're going to have fun. And you know what? They were right.
And here we are.
Iron Man 3 for you.
$5 a month, people. Just come on. Let's do it. Do it for a month. See what you think.
Yeah. Try it for a month.
All right.
All right, so we'll be back here at the attack on Stately Stark Manor, the end of a critical locale from all these movies. Be here for the destruction and the heroism that will be on display next time. We'll be here. You be here too. Enough said.
Bye.